Rosie the Riveter remix and Go-Go Gadget girl power advocate allegedly confused as to why men don't approach her in public anymore. Why did I say allegedly? Why did I preface it that way? Well, we'll get into that. But for right now, roll the clip.
Let me tell you what I have noticed. In the past about maybe 6 months, right? I've noticed that when I go out, men don't approach me. And when I mean go out, I mean if I'm at the grocery store, going out for a walk, getting dressed up and going somewhere, it doesn't matter. Men just have not been approaching me whatsoever. And at first, when I noticed it, I was like, okay, this is different because I'm just used to men coming up to me, right? I had to realize, okay, when I'm praying and I'm asking God for protection in all areas of my life, I totally feel like my dating life has his protection over it as well, right? When we know that a lot of these men just want to come in your life and waste your time. And if you're praying for a husband, if you're praying for your spouse, if you're praying for companionship, you have to realize that God is probably making you invisible to like 99% of these.
I gotta stop her right there because feminism for the rest of the video, is satanic in nature. And God has no fellowship with darkness. So I don't know what God it is you profess to believe in, but it's certainly not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But we'll get more than that as the video progresses.
I want these men to step to you because he already knows what it is before you even know. So now when I go out, I don't even expect men to come up to me, for real. Like, I really just go out and I just be going out for a good time, of course. And yeah, I don't expect it anymore because I totally feel God's covering over my life in that area to really shield me from all the BS, okay? Because it's so much of that out there. So from one woman of God to another, if you're feeling discouraged or you don't know what's going on, that's probably what's going on, sis. God is saving you for your husband and making you invisible to all these men who they don't want nothing from you. They just want to waste your time.
Or there's a second option. Could it be the reason why men don't approach you in public is because you are the exact same woman who went idiotically viral just a few months ago saying this about your ex-boyfriend?
Hey you guys, so I recently broke up with my boyfriend and I didn't think that I was going to share this experience or this story just because it's not that big of a deal and it's kind of private too, but I decided to share it because I felt like the girls really needed to hear about this. So there are two major points I'm going to make and I'm going to try to keep this very short. So number one, the way that God has carried me throughout this breakup is really nothing short of amazing and unbelievable. Usually after a breakup, I'm a mess. Like, I've been known to cry in the club over a breakup. Like, I'm telling you, days, weeks, you know. And the fact that that has not been my experience this time is only because of God. And I've been really trying to get back to my relationship with him, first and foremost, so that he is leading my relationships from now on. Number two is, I feel like a lot of times when we all see these breakup stories, especially coming from the woman's perspective, it's always like this horror story, like, you know, the stuff that she's been through and what he put her through and all the stuff that she put up with. And we all look at her like, girl, why was you in that relationship? Like, why did you stay? But when I tell you guys that that's not my experience at all, like, it just wasn't. My ex was a great guy. Like, even after we broke up, still sending me flowers to my apartment. What the fuck? You know, like, just a great guy, but for somebody else. And we didn't break up because of anything that he did to me, anything that I found out or anything that I did to him. We literally broke up because just of small things that led me to understand that this was not my husband. And so I needed to make room for my husband by exiting that relationship. But I'm telling you, the way that he treated me within this relationship was so good. He's raised my standard. And you guys know that my standards are already high to begin with. But my ex treated me so well in our relationship that it was like, if the next guy, he's made it harder for the next guy. Because if the next guy isn't coming like my ex or better, then off the rip, you can get to stepping. Like, so, you know, breakups don't always have to be this, oh, I'm learning a hard lesson or I went through some traumatic experience. Not every relationship is going to end up in a marriage. And the ones that don't end up in marriage doesn't mean that it has to be messy or, you know, as long as you're upholding your standards within the relationship, it should be a positive experience. And honestly, my relationship was a positive experience. And I'm telling you, like, I have nothing bad to say about him. and we're still friends. We still talk and everything, but I just don't feel like the girls hear that often about a relationship that you get out of that has raised your standards. That like he's treated me so well that the next guy's gonna be hard for him, you know. So I just wanted you guys to hear that, because not every breakup is a horror story, and not every breakup is some hard learning lesson. Some breakups are really because you're just maturing and you want different types of relationships, and you just came to understand, like, I don't see myself marrying that person, so let's not waste each other's time. And that's pretty much what this was. But like I said, great guy, love him, and yeah, that's it.
God damn it! You can't make this shit.
One thing you guys need to understand, because yes, she did not just have a stroke. You actually heard her say what you heard her say, and she meant it. Gentlemen, it is important for you as Western men, for those of you in the West listening to me, shout out to all my guys listening to me in the third world. It's very important that you guys understand it does not benefit you in any way to be the first good guy in a bird brain's life. This woman is so indicative of what's left to pick from here in the West. It's no accident that men by the hundreds of thousands, soon to be the very millions that they talk so much trash about, that are getting their passports and getting the hell out of here for greener pastures. This man, according to her, was in no way bad to her, raised her so-called standards to heights even she was unaware of, and she threw him away anyway. This man is obviously a simp. This man is obviously a man who has literally no clue what his actual value is out here on the sexual marketplace. This man is still sending her flowers after she destroyed the relationship. What self-respecting man would waste any more of his already wasted resources on a woman who has proven she has no gratitude for his sacrifice? There's a very valuable lesson to be learned from that, guys. But in the meantime, I want you to understand this woman who's pretending that she doesn't know why men aren't approaching her, who's pretending that she wasn't the talk of the town for months at a time after making that dumbass video, pretending that she doesn't know that she alone is responsible for creating the biggest parody of modern women's thinking that has ever existed, aka the soft guy era. Shout out to guys like Scarface, Mark, and Lil Goody for taking what she had to say in this idiotic video about her ex, exposing it to the world for the fuckery that it is and always has been. But don't take my word for it. Roll the clip.
All right, y'all. So I just broke up with my ex of 5 years, and I literally have no complaints about her. Like, she was perfect, right? I used to, didn't have a car. Now I have a car. But when I didn't have a car, she used to let me ride around her car all day while she was at work. And I still didn't have a job. And and it doesn't get any better than that. She used to pay for all the meals. She paid for the bills, all that, until I got my stuff together. But it was just something about her. It was just something about her I just couldn't comprehend. I can't really explain it to y'all, but she was so perfect. But you know how somebody can be good to you, but they're just not that good person to you? You know, they're that perfect person, but it's just, to me, it's more than just being a perfect person. But they just wasn't that perfect person for me, if you get what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. And I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm going to try to make it make sense. But she was so perfect in every aspect. She looked good, made good money. I made $30,000 that year, but she made $120,000, and she still humbled herself down to come mess with me. She buys me meals, even to this day. I go home, she'll text me and ask me how my day's going, and then she'll DoorDash me some food while I'm just at the crib not doing anything. And it's just I really can't. I had to make room for who I truly love. Even though she was all good and dandy and perfect, I have to make room for my wife. Someone who I truly love, even though she might not be as good as this person over here. Me and her goals just didn't align. So I'm just going to let her go, and I'm going to let the bird fly. You know? I'm going to let that go, even though she was good to me. I just have to let her go. She'll be good to somebody else. I had to really let her fly away. Honestly, she was a blessing to my life, though. So perfect. Good girl. Let me drive her car for real every day. But she literally took care of me. She literally upped my standards. She upped my standards. So now, y'all know my standards are already high. She literally upped my standards. So now, y'all know what's going on. On to the next. I'm about to find my wife, y'all. For real.
Shout out to Scarface and Mark over on TikTok. Because sometimes the only way to illustrate stupidity is by being as stupid as possible yourself. But Lil Goody also over on TikTok didn't want to be left out of the mix. He had this to say.
I just had to cut my girl off because I just moved her into my place, and then she's telling me she wants to go 50-50. You were broke. I moved you into my place, and you're asking me to go 50-50. Now, I don't tolerate disrespect. I don't pay bills. I'm in my soft guy era. What do you not understand? At this point, I think this bitch hates me. Oh no, and there's more. Because she said, oh, let's have a little night out. Like, I want to treat my man. I said, okay, calm down. I'm in my soft guy era, right? This girl took me to Olive Garden. Bitch, who are you? Because you're not my girl. Olive Garden? What is Olive Garden?
That's hilarious. Dating in the black community in America has been dog shit for at least 20 years. But the white guys who's like, hey, listen, man, we see what you brothers going through. But it ain't all peaches and cream over here neither. This is what we got to look forward to. Check this out.
I just got off the phone with someone I was seeing, and she asked me how my day was going, and I explained I was at the airport. And then she said, I'm glad you got there safe. And I said, yeah, I had to take an Uber. I had to block her. I mean, she was great and everything. She was emotionally intelligent, always paid for dinner, pretty much catered to my every need. But if you hear I'm taking an Uber to the airport, and your first move is not to open up Venmo and send me money, are you even a real woman? And then you find out I'm on a commercial flight, and you don't immediately charter me a private jet. I know my worth, drizzle. I'm in my soft guy era. I want to be pampered. And if you're broke, just say that. And I'm sure later she'll come around looking for some sugar, but this sugar don't mix without drizzle.
The funniest part about this whole soft guy era thing is the fact that everything you hear these guys saying is either a direct demand some chick they were dating made of them specifically, or something they heard some dumbass boy on TikTok say, like our original poster. The chick who told us that her boyfriend was great, so she had to dump him. Stupid. And she got word that they were making a fool out of her and making a lot of money off it at the same time. So of course, she had to do some damage control and make this video. Brace yourselves, guys. Roll the clip.
So I've been made aware that the last couple of weeks that the males have hated my video that I was talking about my breakup, and I was saying I broke up with my boyfriend, but he was a good guy, treated me well, but he was not my husband, so we broke up. They had a problem with that because basically what they're saying is good enough should be good enough. But let me tell you one thing, good enough was never good enough for me. I live my life on 10 with everything that I do. I'm not going to look at something that's good and think that it's husband, because here's what it is. Good enough is right here. This is a good boyfriend. This is a husband, okay? And a lot of y'all date men that are in the gutter. See, I feel bad for not only the men be acting crazy anyway, but I feel bad for the women that didn't understand me, because that means that you really live your life with a scarcity mindset of, oh, I'm gonna take good enough because I'll never get better than good enough. Girl, I will always get better than good enough. And it honestly just really made me sad to see the women that didn't understand what I was talking about, because sis, that means that you dated people that did not treat you well. A prerequisite to dating me is that you treat me well. That's the bare minimum. And the fact that you are not getting bare minimum, I feel sorry for you, sis, but I can't live my life that way.
Yeah, cool story, bro. Listen, guys, the bottom line is a bird brain will always find her way back to the sidewalk, will always make her way back out to those streets. Come hell or high water. This guy was too good for her, and she knew it. She sabotaged everything about the relationship and threw it away, because she knows what you and I already know. Women like her are good specifically for fuck practice. Women like her are what you use to get your stroke game up, so when you finally find a woman who's worthy of marriage, you know what you're doing in that bedroom when you get her. Your endurance in the bedroom has been increased because of reps put in. One spraying her in the face at a time. That's what women like her are good for, guys. You don't treat them well. If you can, you ought to avoid them entirely. But women like her, the wall will be merciless. At that point, she's going to ask the dumbest question that will ever leave a woman's mouth. Where have all the good men gone? We know where hers went. Or rather, we know where he was sent. Packing. And out the front door. Hopefully, he'll get his balls back. Hopefully he'll reach down and grab him, make sure it's still there. And he'll stop wasting his time and money sending flowers to a woman that threw them away. But in the meantime, guys, be mindful, be careful, and stay as far as you can away from women like this. They're not worth your time, and they're not worth your investment. That said, that's my time. Like the video, comment down below. Share with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, be working. Until next time.